Yate, this is Dr. Boo Nygren. Over the past year, my team and the Navajo Nation employees have worked hard to push forward our initiatives. I'm proud of their dedication. Dear Horo de Nebananta, Horon Gitchahati, I yisi Asla Anahaja bin Dasil, Nishigi, the Neva Washington, Yendaz, Nishigi, Yadais, Nishigi, As Yegon, Jono, Yichin that is on Jono, Yendash, Nesto, the Hot, Inigi Horo, Ben Kisnatation. Housing, I signed 7 IDIQ contracts, allocating $128 million in ARPA-funded housing. Of the 957 applicants, nearly 60% have home site leases, bringing us to 300 homes closer to our 1,000 home goal. The Housing Improvement Program also completed 2 homes for applications waiting 7 years. The Navajo Hopi Land Commission Office is working with 28 chapters to use $14 million in IDIQ funding. I signed the 2025 Indian Housing Plan, listing 30 projects worth $97 million. De hodo asat de mil yaje hone la hawando nestina khaje de nebanant an de shnene de kuigu shibeta des nesto peso de bachata yado de kuigu shikarai ta beta etnishik bininache ayo pashe khojo diat en nebeke bakao Estasia si yego started Disdin de mil yaje hone la hawan nit sinde bahil lenigia si hotta hot o hot en Asat the meal one need Nileto Hanet and them Hoto Aseta Iliado Hot Zage Bohonet Zada no did never Washington who one Sunday you need Aro thoughts Nanish one hike it that is Engi NXA dot Hatnas Nilida the Quigos in Washington no person Kitcheta but you what I Ekat one Sunday sneedos that the Unity Banshis Hazot Veterans, dear when last saw how one yited and Lenigido, the Quigo, Slatin, the meal, Sa Honella, base of a chata, Ziado, started as a nezitin of Ahonella, how one Nahito, last so Bacato was an Ecapitatis, Icadeaita, started as a Nesna, as Hota, Ziado, Natin of Icapita Inish, Ysepan, Kistahojonto, a lot a year of Kistahojon game, code talker, but in any John Kensel, Nikazabe Honesnane, how one bast and as Yado, Kada. Nezatin of so sit when they lab and nachagunda, but one bask and that Yagiban Kisahojo, out of those last so, but sees that not in store, should not in Irish Kahuneska and any chin lead, Adas Yagido, Tuba City, the Anada Yago, Bankata, Eto, Daro Lake in Hasgade, Banaosh Kahonle, a day one, but Tato has Ziggy, a hoto. Aslaj nachego hoto ata ilga so that this infrastructure NTUA connected over 550 homes to electricity using ARPA funds with 1799 more planned. They have one based achieve hoto neto toda lo tsegi kone lao yese njono ben dasnes that nezetin of ado up base of Washington dono tahigi aro so khade nezetin of kone la one baby ka o wodigi inle the net ore nata ka ho te shwata nenegi Ado the Quig or Shin Hawan, Garden as it in of Honella, Topatas, Sedonle Hawan, the builder dot as an egin as it in of Honella Dazia, Arthur Scargo, Toda dot Sehanegi, Kintasachi, Rock Point, Rough Rock, the Hot, Enegiro, Tau Hardly, yes, a Topeter neat, Linhanene, Hodato, Pesos of a Landa is Nito, Hodina, Goshibeta, and Nishto list. Audahuna and Nanagi water rights. We are moving forward with water rights settlements. I testified before Congress on 4 bills totaling $5 billion in settlements. Northeastern Arizona Indian Water Rights Settlement, Navajo Gallup Water Supply Project Amendments, Navajo Nation Rio San Jose System Water Rights Settlement, Technical Corrections to Water Projects Act. I testified before the U.S. House and Senate to support these water rights acts. I thank our federal advocates for pushing these legislations forward. Ani da hata dot zoto dit o de neba Washington dot de neba nastrogi hot o yo toje ha zoje do hos do ha zoje dit o tobe da det do honne la beso betal kan but hota do net nenegi ye ha wan ete ha wan de kui de shim betato ha nasti do kade nasti da de skens do nig na kida zen na lo ze yego ba hoda do zin e hot o jono ben dasil nesto dit de kushin nal do ze a pa hazin honne la on kede beson che hoto nis no ben the community. Our chapter governments are central to our communities. I signed legislation committing $4.8 million for the Cameron Chapter House and $7.7 million for St. Michael's Chapter House renovations. Mariana Lake is bidding for a contractor, and Nyeezy is working on its design. In Crown Point, we broke ground on a building to reduce travel to Window Rock for services. This year, we had Khatnaz Nilibithan Dahaz Anigi, the Kui Goshi, Khatnaz Nilikin Nadadot Asto, Ati beta inishigito tit on not that or champion ye. Ike that any do crown pointed that any kin ion skagos and dot as ebony nachik to the never Washington which ever as that or no ye hoto community bindasnish. Education. We invested in education, awarding $30 million in scholarships to 5,517 students. NTU President Dr. Elmer Guy is expanding NTU's programs to include space industry training, windmill construction, battery production. We're working on renewing the Dene Higher Education Fund grant for the next 20 years, supporting NTU, Dene College, and ANSWA. At the high school level, we helped fund a $10 million dormitory at Navajo Preparatory School, supported the groundbreaking at Tohatchee High School. We also supported students' rights to wear traditional regalia at graduations. Diwed Ostka Nanigi Bedet Egidekui Goshim Katin the Mil Sa Honela Action Nikeda Etoska no Honela Chidayos in Don Le Hota Hota Ostka Gida Yego Peshna Pasada as Cheda Dos Niseba Dietis Kae Hoton Action Yinda Hidos Asa Noda Aros Laonda Peso Bichota Negi Dipata Ostka Gida into you the neck college do deep pesos and Action above Bachata Negi the Hohotos Nisha Nenegi Ekatatibanat Aros Donle Navajo President Kenyat Egi Cashin Yindan Jato Inachi at the house at Nenegi Nini Sidigi Aroso to Hatchida Le Ajik Gallup McKinney County Schools and Nenegi Zono Bepeso Yayicha de Laro Kissendashi Nesoyason says Ha Congo Kadebita Inish Aroso Cashin da is Kahoda. The other neck at the Deshnis and Nenegi, Sto, Yego Betahas, Zidia, do hot Eda Ishebina, Dota, the Nenegi, do Bigat, no, not so Hadish Lagoyat, and Schlatin Hahobaka, the Nen Lenegi, Apapahone, Zanel, had no, Be has Ani, Assistance has Anigibe had the Schlag. Healthcare. This way, East Bedel, Enigido, Zais, and Bethas Anigi, the Ananas, Ya Sage Memorial, had Nenegi, Eshiga Tatna, Days Nishan, the Art Zagi Ban, Kistahozo, Aro Stone Lane, Skagi, Nado, Asley, after the Neke, the Hatenegi, Echo Cliffs Healthcare Center, Tuba City Corporation, but the Nenegi, Eses Hakado, Hodos, the Neba Washington, Yegun, Kedanit, Odi, Todal Dot, Sehigido, Behas Anidan, Sagi, and Ken, the Sitons, Gono, Dot, Ahotanit, Eon Kakadi, Jahanenegi, Tatibeta, Nisto, Honaho, Tahashim, Nakinana, Hegoye, Ashedos, Nisha, Noya, Zononit, Andolis, Aroso, Lake Gallup Indian Medical Center, Lace at the Neba Washington, Bakayas at Nahaznia, Bakaunt, Afto, Beninachbendahoit, Ahegi, Arzo, Chinli, the Chirinat Anan, Tahegi, Zono, Hadel, Gaehot, Nich in leaders, and Hadahat, in the Yego, Donahon, Chirinanta, Nadit, Atonan, Tatoleha, no, Ehoto, Astisos, Abendashis, Nish, Arosto, Putahot, Kaigi. Yego Yindash Nishigito Pata Kaigi Natsos Hadadis Yago University of Arizona do John Hopkins University Hazos Hisendadis Nisto Land is Katolis Hatnoya Eso Natsos Hadadia Elders De Sweeto Sanin get the Nanny Nastas Lingi Hit Obaka or Woodigi late Hodines Deside Hatnas Nileni Nadot Asa Nenegi Honaho Tehe Astonit Adolis out of Salani Conwood as Sweeto Sani Yinda Tehigida Esto Azia out of Mexican Springs so Adas Yadok Ade the Quishi Atas Yagi Ganado Smith Lake Taru it's senior center Sweetosani Yinda Denegi Astonatazia Ado of Totenle Salaso Nenegi Asweetosani Bahayan Nenegi Chin Lead Jonos Adolis Nenegi Peso Oigi Ednat Sosa Hadadil Yado Washington but Edelia 54 million Honan Labe Kato was a now Campe Nat Sosa de Yabach Edelia Ado Stokode Le Sabagan Hot Zanigi Fairgrounds Kati Vinyahas Anigi Juno Hadilga the Nebet East of Bichin the Nanigito Le Alada Basinda Apas of the Bichin the Hunt Agi Aya Hajos Chades Yado the Nebeke Bacaso but that days Nishota a hot or Tatas Nisa Hajobas Yanda as Dato Tadal Casta Aroso Yanda as Tahagi Don Dahunta to Chenaskles Hajotas Yag Egat but I initiato out of the Qui Goshinso a Masanedo Chade and Nenigina so Sadilia the Ben Cashin the no Sesigi was Kaigi Ben that need Kindle no, it's not so suddenly agriculture. They were lay a ladder, Kaya Gedest Ingidor, not Lonshilla Gedest Ingi, the Nebekay of a cow, lay at and the Bebaga, Hajob, but on the Hadis Noya, Tabagan Hot Zandebas for Ado, 150,000 pounds, when they la the Nebets Ado, and the Zinigi bin Nachibits on the 70 cents a pound, Bahilon, hot on Jonot, the Nebets, the Hojon, the Kushina, to Hashim, to Nahanihot, to Yada, et on Dunket, no, that don't know yet. Even in Nachin Jonon, Hate, Yagi, Bankista Hojon, hot on the Masanadon get the better you get a day's Igi, hot over car over the man's case. Out of those, they is in not Flonshik, unhit the Never Washington, be had no Nene, to San Hateshnish, out of Sunley, Hota, Taigida, Lena Sos, Bekada, Yago, Dit, or Jos getting that deed, Nisharo, get the net and Lenigi, they is in not Flonshik, in the State and Nenigi, to base about hot, it all is been the seasonish, out of the Queen, Shinley, Saint Ah, Yunke has Nigi been in a chip, Tot gets asked what the is, shows do Kayata, to Hojogo, the Yosenigi been in a chip, to Hajoba and the deed in no pesos a bunny nil, out of the USDA near Washington, do peso and kitchen date Ingi, where the never Washington, where Kins and need on do Aro being dust, the hot on Juno, as a kitchen date in the Soyat, and then hot open dasnish. Economic development, dear where Nanish Hadnos Chasto hit all and Nanish the Honor to peso, Yan Nahin Tehigi the Quigo Shibin Dasnish Le Chi Nenigi Le Archigo the Neke that Enigi when Jono Howard Dos Nisto Kin Tragin dot Asto Beninache the Nenda Galigiro Bepeso Yego the Hononi went and Chasto list had no Howard Dos Niston his Zadon for all in they dos Sesto de Dios in Hanoia dot Art and any the Quigo Shibin Dasnisto. The card in that case, and Nenigijo, Arjo, the Neke, that Enigia, you see, I can't enter the needs in the Dano, the Queen, Gushinda, or Kakade, Jono, Nanishpita days, Nisto, Lake at Peso, Debijada, those Nietzsche, but you hold Jeso, Honahot, Ashing, but the days Nishas, Yego, Yat, Etolate, Art, Enish Latin, how to Bakashi Ben, get in Indo, the never care of a car, hot or hot out the Lagi, and Johnny, Danzo, Dunkins, Edos, out of Washington, the person get it as Dito na Nishiso de Yos Yerigi, Baby Khan, that's what I Nachida Netlon, Diego that no Sheikha, no, sto 87 million kitchen Hozia, got a 7 million change labs, Todinest is a business, and I give it to Hozia, Ado I not 26 million kitchen Hozia, sto a hoto the Quigushin, a stop at Honada, those Nisa a hoto, na Nishisi de Yos Yerigi Bacado, was a noya, Aldo stop. Base of Washington, don't know, Tahagi, the Neda, that Sedido, that Atlodo, the Quigo, she hot that, Erigi Nanish, Iketa, Kahigi, $8 million, so baby car, or would Ado Stoughton late torture, the Neban, that Nigi, Eso, Hajo Harlos, Nisha Nene, Eka, the Sona Ziago, Le Azia, Tada, a hot or the Neye baby, Stajon, the Waban, that I need to out of the Le Goulding's Large Monument Valley, the Hill near, so Eso, Asiego, Yat Eho, $7.4 million. The never Washington, ya Nahin Data, Asia Bini the Quigo Shin, Nahot Egida, Beta, Inishtolis, Adosoni, Nanazade, NTUA, Dit or Le Shantin, the Beta, the Stegi, and Hete, or Biga to Little, Don Trago, Dot Azastan, Asad the Mil Yaja, Hone not the net is Nishtolis, Ado, the Swazia, the Keres, the Nezet in the Marstatin, Hone La, which the net is Nishto, Ehotoso, but the hot Ato, Bendas, Nestos, as Sontalia. Roads, did a teen ben das Nishigi, as a yego, which the never care of a car, teen Beketa Ashlegi, Hahola, a shade those Nisto Hahola, but the Nishat Nenegi, a hot or then a hot show, any says Hakam, $18 million when it labe. A shade of Nis Washington, no peso, no Tahido, stop, late in Libes has Anigi, where said was it that was just no yet. I was so teen, a shade of Nis and Enigi Chinli, but Haho Zogi, Hoto, Ben Dasnish. I also your Torja, but Haho Georgia, teen to get that days, Ingi, a say, ya had down, Hotaho, Michelle Lujan Grisham, Yandas, Nishigi secretary, but in Enigi, Haho Lunge, Rono, but the Donish Hanene. I also Representative Allison, I see Yego, Nachanao Com, Ashon, that is Nishanle, Shipwreck, Donle, Archigo Oz, Watanle, Red Mesa, Tisnas, Masha, Tina, see, Dan Hasko, Hata Ostando, Hot or Cushing Standards in Natina, Head of Hot or Teen, in the Yita days, Nishea, Siego Ban, Histahojum, $81 million, Ehoto, but Dainish. din nana khagoshin beta nish to hot on no atkin kedos nish no yo toje beta hot zoje nat ani dan lenigi do an heso a ye ho wan so nat ani khan lenigi hot op ben das nish adolf don sabagan hot sando galop atkinigi da so hot ende atkin bagata hos sando atkin do hashida hot edo hazob tinish lejen edo dos nish nene so jono beta des nish ban hita hojon da doch no da sata dan kis teho hoto beta nish so adolf do an he atkin yen da nishigi sta 50 million doba ahone lam beta don nish no be landa is ni hoto beta nish aro khona hot so 150 million Asad in is it in the marsh Latin the meal sa honne la a teen better don nishat noye asiban his tahozum aro teen the quigoshi so as chedas yagi bird springs at nenegi aro lot east nusmas Apache County da basna anisho so was a hagedo le nenegi so ban his tahozum hoto a teen beta inisho at the quigo doshiat in horoben his nahashnet and in Chicago bin da anishote. Public safety. On June 24, we broke ground on a $16.8 million Shiprock Incident Command Center, a 25,000 square foot substation for police, fire, EMS, and emergency management program. Modular facilities in Fort Defiance have been completed pending inspection. The Navajo Department of Correction is on track to spend $15,000 in New Mexico grants, including funds for the Tahatchee Substation and Tejoso Justice Center. We expanded emergency services by boosting responder connectivity through FirstNet with NTUA and broadband. Next month, 2 modular jails will open in Shiprock and Window Rock to combat domestic violence. The contracts were awarded to Amato Aschinipagan Inc., $700,000. Navajo United Methodist Center, $100,000. Alice Place, Winslow, $130,000. Family Crisis Center, Farmington, $300,000. Roberta's Place, Grant, $77,000. Battered Family Services, $650,000. Todeneshet Committee Against Family Abuse, $1.2 million. UNHS Gentle Ironheart Shelter, $1 million. 3 victim service contracts were signed for crime victims, totaling $2.3 million. My administration acted quickly during the Shiprock floods. Our expert in emergency response is helping lead the recovery efforts. Public safety officials prioritize clearing clogged culverts that caused the floods with BIA support. as nenegi juk ade ba atten salau ba atten kinyat egido konten sesigido leze is in the hot hot in the white stage jegi eda hot ot hinso yendas nishigi arosto de kui goshinle is now they said a substation the ada gado to hatchi sehot so bin that nishat no the arosto NTUA salau the base behenende jahida hazo sinto a large ndas nishto le no the arosto tochito le chagano zane was yasa anda dos nis the kushina heka do ada ego di ayo das isego do hashin yodan schodjuk adeda ten kitne hashin hagoshin account point kiyente da den zago benina cheto da needs in the no the ebe hoto the modular jails and the don't nis ada dos nis no bin das nis also the qui washin stat the meal sa do ba hone la the net hit about this energy do hago the shas and energy do heda shi hato to shayas hito le energy hone la da peso becheta the qui shi and idiot de shi give the gana catch hoda to ben dasi listo that the bedeni ni sharoso toche ye tochin na da do the qui shi bagan start the net bagan da has ele khwaye eskishin dasi listo zol ya del that the also that le Pin the Yada based on Hodat Energy, Shada dos Niso says be Hatades Bine, Hada Hido Casa. No, Hoto Bia Adamson days, Hoto, the Inish, Arhona and employment. In January, I signed an executive order streamlining the hiring process. Job seekers can now apply online without submitting multiple applications or documents. This addresses issues like the backlog of background checks, which caused 1,400 vacancies. On June 26, Chin Lee signed an MOU with the Department of Self-Reliance to subsidize 22 new hires, allocating $408,202. TANF subsidized help offset wage and employment costs. INDOT is partnering with local programs to fill CDL positions. In April, I signed legislation preserving 105 ARPA-funded positions. We also renewed our agreement with the United Mine Workers of America, extending union protections as an option to tribal employees. The Nenad Nishigi at Enigate all at the Navajo Washington, so Banda dos Nisto, Banal Sos Bandes, Sos and January and Danal Sos had the Sladi, so no executive order had the Haishebin in a hotel gate at the Nasos Nan, they need Jahigido by Ede at Yoda, Ilneton, get the Neton, and the Hanot, Anigida, the patient sick case in Nata Sos and Haishebin and Hido, hot Ed had no, Ea had the Yagukat, Yendash Niskade, Nikashindo, Neroata, Isonosagi, Nan Nishabinian, this Sos the Navajo Washington, and Enigi. Nha Bohone, Zambalaho, Ado, the Quig, Shinley, Washington, the Peso, Tahigida, Chinley, the Huabas, Anigi, Department of Self Reliance, Sato Peso, Bayes, what 400,000 a hot opening, the Nedabichin, that has Yahigi Ayosh Ashon, the Hotos, no, to Aroso, a teen Shagan does, Nishigi end Le but the old Kaigi, the Quig, Shinton, Cast, Chindon, get the net, and then again, Chiditsos, not pass, but CDLs, that, Anigi, Jono, that these Nisto, hot oil, Nanish, get the never had loaded, no, look, I get this niche, Aro April, that did the Navajo Washington, the Peso, Kitchen Hold the Guy, Yendas, Nesset, no Ashla, Honel now, Dobana, Nishato, no, not so Spelance, same, Ado, lay union workers at Nenegi United Mine Workers of America, Halet, all at the Navajo Washington, so had a Doliti Kushi, Nesnana, Hedob, Cheheta, no, Hajona, sauce, and Nin that these nation hot the Navajo Washington, Yandas, Nishigi, Dane, Ziniki, Pa, hot, Italy, Hatnoya, Eto, not sauce, Bela, Seslino, Hatavia. Uranium, I marched with tribal representatives to urge Congress to pass RECA amendments supported by 40,000 raised by Navajo Nation Washington office. I worked with AG Ethel Branch and Delegate Casey Allen Johnson to strengthen the 2012 Radiation Materials Transportation Act, extending notification time from 4 to 7 days. On August 13, I signed an MOU with the U.S. Department of Energy to address orphan wells. We protested against illegal uranium transport across Navajo land. I also called on the federal government to protect tribes from uranium mining near the Grand Canyon. Dear, what said so by Nahat Enigi the Quig or Shinley, Washington, the Hadiyado, said so in Dash Neston, post 1971, had Enigi, said so Hahakerigi in Dash Neshido, but sees what the house Agidos, Bass Chindo, Nowadays, Enigi, which in how to get Haisheb in Abe, Anigido, Bigat, Hanoi, Washington, the Hadi Jedo, not ladder the Baka, not so the Baka, Hodan Swogo, Ash Honda, Speaker Johnson, where a year who won over Taton, let's sauce a land, say the Nay. Hitahoneto the Quigushi, do Hedet or the Dash Nation, dear the Navajo Washington, Stahouts in Bacard, Washington, but then again, you say a lot, Yai Jail, Haishebin in that aunt, do base of a Johunta, set of its east between Dahas Tigi and Nenegi, Aros Donle, Behas Ani Hadelga, 2012 Radiation Materials Transportation Act, no Hadelga, Donuts, Cars, Delegate Casey Johnson, do Hadit Ahit, so Ethel Branch in Dash Nestoshebe, Lance Sino, dear, Hajo, Ben Hisnahan now, do, Hajo, Hisna and Nesto, Haishebin Don, Ben Hisan now, did the never came a card, Hatek, Higido, Bacard, Le Hagoshi, Atino, Horse, Doba Sahot Soja, between Bacard, Kegido, Ben Hisanegi, do Danit Zinder, Dan Kedosin, Nazi. Nenegi, Hoto, Hadevia, Ados don't lay it so had a Gerigida, I don't Tahoto need Eashon, Dan Kedenosino, Lake Grand Canyon, Jabana as Degi, Doda needs in the Hadot Nidoso, not so Hadevia. Children and families. A $24.2 million contract was awarded to replace playground equipment at 16 child care center. Upgrades include durable rubber surfaces for 28 child care centers across Navajo. In September, we opened the Crown Point Youth Complex and look forward to the Chinley Youth Facility. To support youth employment, $2.2 million was allocated. I also settled an outstanding bill for 4-H youth for released cattle and sheep and signed an MOU to expedite tribal membership determinations for Navajo children in state custody cases. Dian Caschindo, Hamadada, Asin, Kamadon, Hijad, but Bida Date Igi, Hajodo Le Hanenigi, Beso Belans, Lesonle, Achinias, Danei, Khan, Danero, Ultra, Babanda has Anigi 24 million Honela, not Dindo, Anse, B Honela, Achinias, Bahayanigi, the Nebeke of a car, Juno, Harden, Nito, Beninas and Cashin, Dadil, Sono, Hajo, Eskin, Danero, no, binda as nish aro Crown Point Youth Complex the kushi si peso da ba oto haishe bedina dot skin so as ne eskesin de nisto hajo as khan de ja kat anas ya do kachi zonon kashin dan denigi aj chide yos ido aro so bena de stani so chin the youth facility khashet on dot aso beta hot I eso binda hoit out eto aro so 2.2 million kidne at in the never care of a car zonon da dot nish nenigi eso be last name aro so le Khayda ba chinda batsandi so da do khayda ehda noda dot skins on that source dan to Division of Family and Children Services equida but nenigi hajo skins of be landa ile hot oil cash chindo khada shito da has khada le no do jonon da si cause do be landa is leo not source den to this outlook. We are involved in a decades-long project where Navajo Nation earns money from California for keeping our forests healthy, which helps fight climate change. I work with the Department of Interior to join the program, and our forests are now being evaluated to determine earnings. I will provide an update next year. My administration has been working with various departments to create Operation Dinesh School Safety, a website hub that connects students, parents, and law enforcement and schools. It will help report harmful behavior and provide resources and offer post-traumatic support. Dewa nasto alaban sa kesigi le nesche don le alat east abeni nachin jono nesche nahe ben dahe zigi jono yosenigi le California but nenigi aya beni nachin ke easto adaho ke kaya hajo ba da hasyanigi beni nach peso ben ke hotel idole nenigi aya jono kana be la le to jono skatet aigi hona hot hashi hone la the mil sa the never Washington but you hold idole jo late east the never cable card and it's just that as anigi the job ke that no igi do ba da hasyanigi hone la person ke hold idole negi eshi California do eshi hona hot and hono hone la the mil sa ke yan nahin de to no ben da huit aro ben del neshde aro so le khashito ba da hosidi ta ol kha ol kha da 10 years da big hat ke da has on do big hat da enigi benina hajo that in the shan that neshigi so loud and enigi but ol khaige hajo skidi ka Operation Dinesh School Safety hat no hajo kesin da dil nesh hot oy as 10 years da ol khaige do mado jado so loud and enigi do but ol khaige bes da has anigi hajo bichi yada dil keto haida shibichi na hot igi do yeger sa skida bidil yado da is sound hajo bichi yad keto so da zinda bita det hot o bin da dil nesh no so bita inish Arohone Nanagi broadband. Over the past year, we built 4 broadband towers and issued an RFP for 78 more. We also issued an RFP to fix wireless access, which uses radio waves to connect homes and businesses. The broadband office worked with the Navajo Land Department and RDC to draft telecommunications and broadband regulations. Once the Telecommunications Regulation Commission is established, they will finalize these rules. The broadband office has installed LTE 4G, 5G ready radios at 26 sites, installed E-rate fiber networks equipment at 28 chapters, and completed fiber construction for 300 Rama Navajo families. Hot od le nesche ben sa case dot sinlo ye nas neshigi ben nache chen da is in do ben nache the base ben se case ben da neshigi the quigo shi na days and base na days no ben nache hot od sinlo na nishto le no the quigo shi hot od ben da as nishton le be his ani dan da do kasto ben nache later the quigo shi broadband towers of it and negi da neldo da do igi da le sa se hodan to hot o yen no but da nishto the quigo shi jo hot this Jida Edibin Natchita Hoyt and Tatnas Nilera the Quigoshi, Sapa Bata Hast, it only Rayma the Hatnaniki, Edan Kentanens, Radicata hat any Kanda, Beta has Leo Baby Yada Hot Etol Chinta has Neto, Naniste Yosque, those louder, they is in the art and Bayat Eto Shian, Chinde, Bayat Et Eoto, but I nations, no, Bohonetle. These are just a few of our completed and ongoing projects. Tune in to my weekly radio address for more updates from my administration. Dr. Nygren, so the quick is repeat that test. So I got cutting the Hudson. I has ungiven nature. I say, none necessary. Yard open the Asnishki Hodo, Ben Kitchenes, Asana Hedge, did open the Asnish. See a test no, which Nehin Khan Sah Keston here, lay hard, she the naked, the Hateniki, hate oda the never Washington is hate oda the never an Hanas Niston Haho Asto di the hot energy Horoshi Asi so cutting the Hajinigi Ben Kitchenes Kagi Shiba Hodanosin Tashe dos Saturdays as a she hot aid hot aid Nishe Horon gets Bahos and other more outlet Hata Okisiki Dit Ohea Sigego et there's known the Nebanant An Heisnish the never Washington in Haik it is Indo Pandas Nishigin the head of the Zobik is this Indo Nider Kido Ean Nehed the ne shut the Nishigi Yahotanzen other more outlets Kenanta the ne hot osadi Chinese in Gibinina Skito Haila another these Haila another these Nis of Beninache the Nebanant art the ne Sadi Johonade dot Lis Hanenigi E hot Oshaba Hodanos in the Horoye the Nebanant art Dr. Nygren next Thursday she not of the list 1 o'clock 5:30 Hada Kisigi a Shahen Kedini the Letoting in Kistahamno Lake and Katochi Hadi Nehigidon da Igasigida Adida Shida Hidil Teto Yat Eda Hidi Hakone.
Good afternoon. Yad's Eko Dahus Ago, Sheya Sarah Slim Yin Shiedo. I'm the Navajo Hopi Land Commission director. It's a program that falls under the executive branch. Kodoe Hashin Sonlo, Navajo Partition Land, Adon the former Bennett Freeze area. Hodad's Ego Eya chapters at the Hus Ago Bishan Date Nishto. Yad's Ehen Hidini do de Kodo Winderakdo, not Skodida Isanots Agi. In the Dakoni program because we've been working on our Navajo Hopi Land Commission ARPA funds that was allocated through CJN 2922. Our program received 15.2 million aid the mil sa nini baja alia jo legislation hadit ehegi where it's asking us to carry out using those funds to purchase modular homes. Navajo Hopi Land Commission the Eya Ishlanil Honed Eya Kwashada Inish Ado Akona Kindant our community involvement specialist Ago. One Western agency assigned specialist went and covered all of the Western area. One recommendation Adaliagi assess Adayila Ado and the I have one community involvement specialist that covered all of Tsiklajin region and most of the Navajo partition land. We managed to assess close to 200 homes across NPL and also former Bennett Freeze. Out of the close to 100, over 180, we were able to populate 82 homes. Home site lease bed it's cleared all the hurdles. We recently had our kickoff meeting, so I'm happy to report that the Navajo Hopi Land Commission we have encumbered our funds. We're now moving at a point where we're developing our work order, our scope of work. The Navajo Nation, the way the legislation was written, we're carrying out our work with our oversight being CHID, DCD. Out of that, we were able to develop an IGA, and we also had our oversight, which is the Navajo Hopi Land Commission. They went and approved our eligibility criteria. So using those policies, we were able to populate the individuals that we're going to serve with these funds. So right now, we would like to move forward in phases. We do know that we're going to be serving 84 to begin with, and altogether 15.2. It's possible that we can serve a little bit over 100 people. So in the weeks to come, we hope to sit down with the contractor, and there were 7 contractors that were brought in under CHID, and they used what's called the IDIQ. So they were vetted according to Navajo policy. Ajabehas Anik Eya contractors in Linigi. An RFQ was posted back in December of last year, and Behazani, Deneb Behazani, all of those contractors that felt that they have the qualification to carry out the work using ARPA funds. And out of that, to this day, the Navajo Nation has retained 7 contractors. And so out of the 7, we've had a chance to move forward with identifying and working with a company by the name of Direct Homes. Yesterday, we are now finalizing our scope of work. We're going to be working closely with Inaba, which is a project manager that's been already assigned to CHID, to ensure that we're really understanding the home site leases that we received so far, because some of those home site leases that were issued under BIA, those stakeouts, so we're going to do one last week, those that we have populated to serve with the ARPA funds, to where they're going to receive modular trailers. We're going to be visiting those homes within the next 2 weeks. So beyond that, we're hoping that we're going to lock into a contract and really begin to order those trailers. And most likely we're going to see those those modular homes be mobilized the first week of November. And I'm happy to announce that we got the project that far. And aside from that, we're still partnering. I know that we're in a CR, so departments like Navajo Hopi Land Commission were not significantly impacted, because from FY24 fiscal year, we're operating on the same budget. So the only thing is we had budgeted for additional unmet needs, but I guess we just have to get creative as far as moving some of those funds so we're able to better meet the needs of the individuals out there and areas where it's identified as an unmet need. And we've been working with organizations that are coming out of the Hopi partitioned land. We recently met with the Voices of the People, and where we have a contractor attorney that's assigned from the Department of Justice to help the population that currently lives within the Hopi partitioned land. We do know that the Voices of the People are the only organized. It's a nonprofit organization. They do have their charter, their bylaws, their article of incorporation. The reason why I really would like to institute that committee is that's the only body that's fully recognized by the Hopi tribe. And in saying that, we hope to reinstitute, according to their bylaws, we would like to select a president, a vice president, and perhaps a secretary to really fill those capacity in accordance to their bylaws. So we're actually going to leverage that organization to be able to address the needs within the Hopi partitioned land. And aside from that too, and because of the budget constraints that we're all faced with across the board as an operational and a department within the Navajo Nation, I've also been doing a lot of outreach to partner with other nonprofit organizations. And there's our organizations within the Navajo partitioned land. Some of them have successfully conducted outreach to where we're going to be working closely with them. Some of those organizations are going through community grants. And that's where our office can create that partnership. So perhaps over time we can become that statutory agent and be able to identify one of the chapters based on their financial standings, and to be able to identify them as their fiscal agents, so we're better able positioning ourselves to administer a lot of those grants that these communities are going after. We're able to address a lot of the unmet needs that's faced with our communities across the board, and NPL and also the former Bennett Freeze. And due to timing, so she asked in the Ekodon Hilchona Adon, so Hidini do Ashi when you a shipwreck fair go de no kato she da hosliado. Take good care of yourself and make sure that you wear your seatbelt, and then as you come to the fair, make sure you take care of yourself by keeping your hands clean, because that cold is still out and about. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Justin Hastinian Donet Nishinigi Belagana Linchle. Tots and Abus Jim Belagana Edashe Nana Isane Edashnele Akot Egodena Hastinishle Edabahoge the Dead Nasha. My name is Justin Hastine. I'm the Executive Director of the Navajo Nation Washington office. I am actually here back on the Navajo Nation with my team. We've had quite a few eventful weeks out in Washington, D.C., and this week we're here partnering with the Office of Navajo Hopi Land Commission to reach out to some of our affected relocatees in the area to start gathering some testimonials so that we can continue to, again, advocate in Washington, D.C. on their behalf. So we were all morning out at Nahat Atzil and some of the neighboring communities there, meeting with different families who have been relocated and have been impacted by relocation, all in preparations for a large-scale event happening over the next few weeks as we continue to prepare for that. So I appreciate the community welcoming us and sharing their stories, and rest assured we are doing everything that we can to continue to advocate on behalf of you and your families. Some of the biggest accomplishments that the Navajo Nation Washington office has been able to accomplish over the last several weeks: we brought 50 of our Navajo uranium miners and downwinders, as well as members of the Hopi Nation, as well as the Acoma and Laguna Pueblo down to Washington, D.C., to try to advocate for the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act amendments. And that has been well received up on the Hill. So I want to thank our uranium workers and our downwinders who made the trip and sacrificed their time to really work with us on this specific issue, this very important issue. We all understand the pain that you and your families are going through, so I really appreciate all of the commitment and dedication that you have. We were successfully able to raise over $40,000, and the community itself, the grassroots level community, was able to raise about $30,000 themselves, so about a total of $70,000 in fundraising. So that's very outstanding, and I was very happy to be a part of that initiative. Again, it was very well received, lots of media coverage. It has continued to start the conversations of what the future of the RECA program is going to be. And we're going to continue to work on those discussions as we enter the lame duck session. And for those of you who don't know what the lame duck session is, it's the period between around November through January where bills are pushed through Congress in order to get them passed before the new Congress comes in and seats themselves. As we all know, it's the election season for lots of members of Congress, as well as the President of the United States. So our office is preparing for whichever administration is coming in, whether that's the Harris-Walz administration or the Trump-Vance administration. We're currently identifying what the nation's priorities are going to be in collaboration with the Navajo Nation Council, as well as the Office of the President, to really understand what can be accomplished in any event in either scenario. So we are working on those platforms, reviewing the platforms for both the Democrats and the Republicans as we prepare for the transition team. We have been able to work with the Secretary of Interior's Tribal Advisory Council. President Nygren, as well as Speaker Curley, sit as the official Navajo representatives from the executive and legislative branch for the Navajo region. And we were able to successfully pass an entire priorities document that outlined what priorities of Indian country should be, regardless of who the next administration is. And one of those does include water rights. And I know that Navajo Nation is currently working on securing water rights with 4 different bills. We have Navajo Gal Water Supply, we have Rio San Jose, we have the Northeastern Arizona Indian Water Rights Settlement. So all sorts of different water rights bills currently going through Congress, and we're working very hard with our partners here in Window Rock, as well as our congressional leaders in Washington, D.C., to try to get those bills over the finish line and also approved during the lame duck session. It's a very historic moment. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this, and the security that it's going to provide, water security that it's going to provide to the families who are looking to get connected. So it's going to be a very big, momentous occasion when that actually does get approved, and we're going to continue to work on that on behalf of the people. Some large-scale projects that are upcoming in the next few weeks, as I stated before, we're going to be working on the transition as we focus in on the elections. So if you haven't already registered to vote, please make sure that you are registered so you can actually take part in the elections. It is your democratic right to vote, and we want to make sure that you continue to exercise that right. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful turnout, I'm sure. And I just want to say thank you, and I really appreciate the time here. So until next time, we'll see you, and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.